Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher, March Madness!
The Philosopher and the Fool.
I think it's a Greek joke. I don't know if it's ancient Greek or modern Greek. I think it sounds like it's an ancient Greek joke. But basically, 3 islands appear in the middle of the ocean. No, nowhere. On each island appears a man. So on the first island, it's a Greek man, and so he sets about cataloging this new wondrous land, drawing a map of the place, recording the flora and fauna, testing the properties of the animals and plants, creating an atlas. On the second island, there's a Roman, and so he checks around to see if the place needs to be conquered. Doesn't need to be conquered, so then he sets about improving it. He builds a road, he builds an aqueduct, he builds a shining town of marble for himself to live in. Right. On the third island, there's a Celt, so he starts a fight.
With who?
Listening to Alexander the Great, like the history of it with Dan Carlin.
Yeah.
And interesting thing is when Alexander's army met the Celts for the first time, they just won a big battle against some barbarian tribe, and it impressed the Thracians, I think it was. And so everyone was really impressed, so people were coming in to sign treaties and say, okay, let's not fight, we want peace. And even some Celts heard of him, so they came. And, Celts are way on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
It was like, to the Greeks, like, the way they wrote about it was like they were visited by aliens, right? Because they'd never heard of these people, and suddenly they're everywhere. They're giants. They're way bigger than them. They have hair that's all sorts of different colors, like it's an anime convention or something. Their eyes are all different colors. They're not just brown. Like, they've got green eyes and blue eyes, and they've got blonde hair and red hair, and they're huge, and they have weird customs and weird clothing, and they're covered in paint, and so they're like, well, these guys are crazy. Alexander, a little bit of an arrogant guy, he says to them, do you fear me? He says, what do you fear most? To the leader of the Celts. He thinks the leader of the Celts will say, like, oh, Alexander, we've heard about you. We hope you don't attack us, right? And the leader of the Celts said, we fear nothing except the sky falling on our heads.
And so that's where the
Asterix and Obelix thing comes from, I guess, yeah. But it's funny that the guys that made Asterix and Obelix were so, like, they were historians, right? Like, they knew stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's so much depth in there.
The Gauls were Celts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were French Celts.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the French is kind of a new thing, right? Like,
yeah,
and I'm not sure if I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, but the Gauls were Gaelic. They were Celts.
Yeah.
The Franks were Germans.
Yeah.
Who the Gauls got the name of. Like, they basically called all of them Franks after a while. So the Gauls might have never been Franks. But they did have it, like, the Charlemagne was a Frank, I believe, and he did speak a Germanic language.
Yeah. Well,
but then he had an alliance with Lombardy.
It wasn't Charlemagne, but I think his father, his grandfather, basically united France.
Yeah, it was his father, Charles the Hammer.
Yeah, Charles the Hammer, where they had the same thing the Germans had, which is when you died, your sons got the land divided amongst them.
Yeah. And
so France was just like kingdoms. Like, some kingdoms were like a kilometer squared. Like, they're tiny. And then Charles the Hammer, basically with Christianity, went along and said, convert or die.
Yeah, he was one of the first, because the Franks weren't Christians until, well, Charles and Charlemagne. Like, Charlemagne basically started forcing it on everyone.
Yeah, well, the Hammer basically said, convert or die.
Yeah.
And he took over all of France. Or a large amount of it, anyways. And Charlemagne finished it off.
And it's funny, I don't know much about Charles the Hammer, but I've heard he's kind of like Philip II, where if he hadn't had a son, he would have been called the Great. Like,
yeah,
like Philip II would have been called Philip the Great, and Charles the Hammer would have been called Charlemagne, probably.
Yeah. I mean, he still gets a pretty badass name in history.
Yeah, but I think, like, the more I learn about Philip and the more I learn about Alexander, I do think Alexander was on another level.
Well, there's a reason he's called Great.
Yeah, but I'm not sure Philip would have been called Philip the Great, right? If he hadn't died before his Persia campaign, I think he could have been called Philip the Great. But his main achievement was uniting the Greeks.
Which is a pretty big deal.
Which is a pretty big deal, but he didn't win every fight, right? Like, Alexander never lost a fight, right? But Philip lost a couple here and there, and his brother died. And
yeah, Alexander just had the greatest army on the planet.
Yeah, well, but he was more than that. Like, he was
a nut job.
Brilliant and crazy. His second battle, or I think third maybe, he was in deep in enemy terrain between 2 armies that were both bigger than his, in terrain he was unfamiliar with, and he sent out a group of people to get some food, and they got surrounded by one of the armies. So it's the small group of people surrounded by one of the armies. So Alexander sends out a force to rescue them, which he decided to lead himself. Because Dan Carlin was saying, so the Macedonians, they believe that the king should lead on the battlefield. But they thought Alexander was taking it too far.
Yeah, well, one of his battle strategies that I remember hearing about is he would charge ahead of his army,
And then they'd have
and
to
they'd be
catch up.
desperate to catch up to and save his life.
Yeah. So in this case, he goes to the group of people that's surrounded in this clearing, and he says, "Okay, this is what we're gonna do." So they start just doing training. So they get into I don't know how his small foraging group was trapped, because he's like, "Okay, we're gonna form a single phalanx, 150 ranks deep. This is what you send out to pick berries."
I mean, if you're feeding an army.
Yeah, I suppose the rescue force probably added a bunch to that too. So it was probably the rescue force was probably bigger than the berry pickers.
Yeah.
But so they form this phalanx 150 ranks deep. They put the soldiers on the side, and then they start doing maneuvers like, all right, all what are they called, pylon or whatever, straight up, and then to the side.
They just had pikes.
To the right, to the left, and then form a wedge, rotate. So they're doing a complete silence except for the commander.
Were they Sarissai?
Yeah, Sarissa, that's one.
Yeah.
And then the 18-foot ones.
Yeah.
So then the commander... So it's complete silence except for the commander giving the commands, like, pikes to the right, so they put them right straight up, forward, like, And so the enemy army was in the woods, and they're watching, what on earth? So they started getting closer, and they're like, what are they? This is amazing. Like, this is scary and amazing that they can... But they're training right now, so we can get close and it's safe. Once they were close enough, Alexander gave the command, attack, basically. So they all flipped around to the side instantly, gave out a battle cry, and charged the army surrounding them. And so the army surrounding them ran away. Because they're like, well, what's going on? So they ran away. And then Alexander's force turned around and started retreating. Because they're like, we can't actually win this fight. We just have...
It's like the dog going, bark, 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 bark.
Yeah.
And then the false charge is over and you book it.
So then they ran towards a river where, as they approached the river, he called to the people on the other side, like, get ready, defend the bank. Once you cross the river, you need to form up ranks on the far side of the river so that we can stop them from getting across the river. And he said, okay, and we'll have to leave a group of people to defend our rear.
Yeah.
So naturally, Alexander was part of the rear.
So I shall lead from the rear, but it's differently from the rear for him.
Yeah, for him it was, I will stand on this bank and defend my army while my army escapes.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the opposite of what you're supposed to do. But so he was doing stuff differently, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if Philip would have done that. Well, Philip actually, like, he was missing an eye, right? Because he died, like, jumping over a wall and stuff. I mean, he didn't die. He got shot in the eye. But, yeah, so both of them were pretty crazy. At March Madness, right?
Yes, March Madness. It is
Not this one.
a battle of different characters from history, myth, legend,
Video games.
Video games and books.
Video games and books. And I think every other battle will just be a normal fight, and
Yes.
then we'll have strange ones as well.
The history of March Madness is still or used to be a thing that...
Well, March Madness is some sort of wrestling event, maybe.
Yeah.
But there was a book. It was sci-fi and fantasy, like the big book publishing magazine. They used to get authors together and say whose character would win in a fight.
Yeah.
And then it turned into Patrick Rothfuss writing lesbian fan fiction.
Yes.
And so we're making our own.
Yes.
Right here, right now.
I thought of a thing to throw into our battle type.
Lesbian fan fiction?
Maybe not.
Do we have any women in here?
We have one that I know of.
Samus?
Yeah.
Is Samus a woman?
Yes.
Is she though?
Yes.
Okay. Like she could be like just like a asexual jellyfish or something.
No, Samus is a woman.
She's pretty weird.
Yeah, but she's also pretty.
I mean, she's no Terry Crews, but
One day you'll forget. I've seen how our dad's memory works, so
all right.
I think it'll affect you too someday. And
Okay.
then I won't care because my memory also be shot to pieces.
You don't remember whatever it was. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Round one.
So our first face-off here in the Battle of Champions is Ashok Vidal with Angru Vidal from the Black Sword, Son of the Black Sword.
Yes.
Yeah. So he is. Could you like to describe our champion?
Ashok Vidal is a giant, mentally damaged man who is an insanely good fighter. He has armor of silver, hair of black, and a sword that drinks blood.
But he's not mortal, right? Like he can move faster than a bullet. He kind of can see in slow motion.
He can move faster than an arrow.
Yeah. He can sort of see in slow motion, right?
Yes.
And
his sword has the lives of 100 warriors contained within it, so it can tell him how to fight. So a normal attack that would take you by surprise, the sword would tell you dodge left, and you'll move out of the way.
And he also, I believe, he's like supernaturally tough, right? Like his skin
So
is...
he has the Heart of the Mountain, which is a magic power which he can make himself super strong, or he can enhance his senses, or he can enhance his healing. But he can only do one of them at a time.
Right. Because I seem to remember him, like, he gets ambushed in the first or second book in, like, a boat, and he, like...
That was the second book, and he drowns.
Yeah.
No, that was the first book, and he drowns.
But he, like, he kind of fights them off, and...
Yeah.
And, like, even though he's getting stabbed and stuff, he's able to keep
so...
going.
But if he gets too injured, he can no longer use his super speed and super strength, because he has to keep himself alive with the Heart of the Mountain.
Yeah, but he's very hard to put down permanently.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, and he'll... Ooh, I think this person could do it, though. This is a normal fight to start off, right? Yep, okay. He'll be going against Caiaphas Cain and Jorg.
Caiaphas Cain and Jorg.
Okay, so I think Jorg wins. Because well, it depends. I think Caiaphas Cain can shoot Ashok.
Well, let's introduce...
let's introduce Caiaphas Cain.
So Caiaphas Cain is
Hero of the Imperium.
He is from Warhammer 40k.
Huge advantage right there.
A commissar, and he is a pretty average-looking man, dressed like a commissar.
So Caiaphas Cain, he is one of the 2 or 3 heroes of the Imperium.
Yes.
He's considered one of the greatest warriors in all their propaganda. But he is more like Flashman, where he doesn't believe himself to be a great warrior. But he gets supernaturally lucky in a lot of events. Except a lot of what he attributes to luck
is actually just skill.
He is very talented. Like, I think he basically never misses a shot, and his gun sucks.
Yeah.
But he always shoots. He's a very good sword fighter. Yeah. He is like 7 or 8 feet tall.
Yes.
And he's very strong. He fought a bloodthirst.
No, he fought a berserk. He fought
he fought a space marine,
a Khornite space marine.
He fought a Khornite space marine and won.
He's held off a bloodthirster.
He has defeated a tyrant. What are those things? Those big Tyranid tyrant.
Yes, he has defeated, with the help of other people, he has fought off a greater demon of Slaanesh.
And he has survived. Now, whoever writes Caiaphas Cain thinks a lot higher of the Skeleton Boys than some of the other writers.
The Necrons.
The Necrons, because Caiaphas Cain has survived basic Necron troops, and that's one of his closer calls.
In the later books, he defeated a Necron overlord. He outsmarted a Necron overlord and defeated him.
He's defeated
and that is tough to do, because they are very smart. They can slow down time in their brain to think longer, and he outsmarted one.
So basically, Caiaphas Cain, he's very lucky. He's a very moral character. He's probably the most likable and moral character in the 40k universe. Yeah. He's a very good shot, very good sword fighter, very strong, very smart. And on top of that, he has with him Jorg. So Jorg stops all psychic powers in a large area around him.
And he has a melter.
And he has a mining tool used for carving through walls of solid rock.
Well, it's actually an anti-take weapon.
Yeah, so he has... I guess it can be both. But he has this highly overpowered weapon for... There's some reason they don't use them normally. I think it's because most people's frames can't handle
them. They're really
them.
Heavy.
Yeah, but he's willing to carry it around everywhere. Jorg is a disgusting little man. In 40k terms, he could be 6 feet tall. But he's this very little goblin man, always wearing heavy furs. Yeah. And he never washes. You can't really see his face. But he's...
And you should be happy you can't see it, because it is covered in psoriasis and warts and acne.
But he's Caiaphas's most loyal servant by far, and they're best friends, basically. Yeah.
So, in terms of a fight, they're just in arena fighting each other. I think Caiaphas takes it because of his last pistol.
Yeah.
Which is Ashok is fast, but and Ashok recognizes guns.
Yeah.
We're putting Ashok while he has in Gruvidal, so he hasn't encountered as many guns. But Ashok recognizes guns, so while he could actually dodge Caiaphas' shots, because what he does is he dodges where you're aiming, las pistols fire really fast.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Jorg has a melter, and assuming like they start a slight distance apart, Caiaphas basically just shoots Ashok and kills him.
Well, the question, because this is a normal arena, maybe we should have a bit of a setup for the normal arena, right? So are they just told you have to win?
Yes.
But their morals still apply, I assume.
Yeah.
So Caiaphas, because Ashok is kind of a I will do whatever it takes to win sort of guy.
Yeah.
Right? Caiaphas isn't.
Yeah.
Caiaphas would want to leave the arena. Like, Caiaphas doesn't want to fight. Caiaphas wants to get out of there.
Yeah, but
So-
Caiaphas Cain sees the best way to survive is to kill the person trying to kill you.
But I think if Ashok is able to scare Caiaphas and you're allowed to surrender or something, like, I think
Yeah.
Caiaphas would surrender.
Well, there's a crowd watching, and they're Imperial subjects.
Okay, so that's the question. Is there a crowd watching?
Yes.
Okay, so every basic arena battle, there is a crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, because if there's a crowd watching, then if Caiaphas surrenders, when he goes back to the command, they're going to execute him, and
Yeah.
so he'll fight. But that's not true. The command loves him. They'll kill everyone in the arena if they have to. Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to kill Caiaphas, but that's the way Caiaphas thinks. He thinks, oh, people are watching, I have to look like a hero. When he fought that Chaos Marine, he was in a hospital, I believe, or something. And
He was on a battlefield.
yeah, he's on battlefield, and the reason he fought was because he's like, oh, there's people watching. I've got
Yeah.
to. So that's the other thing. Caiaphas versus Ashok in a sword fight. I think Ashok is a better fighter, probably.
Ashok is better, faster, and the black sword is far more powerful than the chainsword.
Caiaphas might be stronger
Oh, I don't think so.
because like Caiaphas is not only a giant man, but he's got like robo limbs, right? Like
He's got a robotic finger.
yeah, but he's got like all the enhancements of the like he can punch, he can kick through walls and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, he's strong, but I think Ashok is stronger.
could Ashok close the distance?
Ashok is fast.
Ashok's very fast. Yeah. Okay, so what's our arena? You're
I think it's just like a sand.
yeah, but 50 feet apart, 10 feet apart.
We should set distance. What would... Because sometimes range people just get that advantage from that.
Yeah, so I think like
20.
20 range 20 you're not going to be able to use range, right? Really? Like unless if you have a because people will close the distance pretty quick. Like 30?
Sure, 30.
Okay, so 30 feet apart, sand arena, Coliseum, you got a crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, can Ashok close in time? No,
Well,
Jorg would intercept.
Well, no. This is what would happen. If Caiaphas doesn't kill Ashok outright by shooting him,
Yeah.
they will engage in a sword fight, and Ashok will be winning.
But Caiaphas might be able to hold his own for long enough.
Caiaphas will hold his own long enough for Jorg to get a shot, and the weapon that Jorg has, Ashok will look at that and go, oh, that's a fancy fortress rod. It will fire, and he will dodge, and it'll still take off half his body, because dodging from a
Yeah.
melter isn't enough, and Ashok cannot survive a melter.
Yeah, so I think Caiaphas wins this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I'm surprised Ashok's out this quick. But
I think it's one of the cases that I could beat him quickly.
yeah, it's like it's one of the people that can beat him as well, right?
Yeah.
Like there's people that could beat Caiaphas
Like-
that might not be able to beat Ashok.
Yeah, even in the sword duel, Caiaphas might win just by getting lucky and decapitating Ashok.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's going to be tricky to factor in Caiaphas's luck. That's good. Although I think he's less lucky than he thinks.
yeah,
All right, so now we have Bram Stoker's Stoker. Sorry.
Yeah.
We have Bram Stoker's Dracula.
a very different Dracula.
Yeah. So
I'm Dracula. Oh my.
Dracula, we all know him. He's the guy that hypnotizes people in the castle and drinks the maiden's blood. He's very strong. He's very fast. He's evil. He's manipulative.
He can hypnotize you.
He's not really a fighter, as far as I'm aware.
No.
No, but he is just supernaturally powerful.
Yeah.
And yeah, hypnosis is going to be his big strength. He's also almost unkillable.
Yes.
Which is pretty handy. Weakened by sunlight. Does our sand arena have sunlight?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
But it's got like awnings he can
Okay.
conjure in
Okay.
shadows.
All right. So it's got some awnings. All right.
Yeah.
And he will be fighting.
Scribbles on a piece of paper.
He'll be fighting Archibald Iron Fist from Heroes of Might and Magic.
Ah. Archibald was not so nice. Week
Yeah.
1.
Yeah. So this is Archibald
Archibald takes it.
after a yeah. So so Archibald in a week could probably raise like.
So Archibald from Heroes of Might and Magic 1.
Wait, is he allowed to have an army?
This is what week 1 is.
Right, but it's also his stats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Archibald had a brother named Roland. Roland was nice and loved.
Honorable, good.
Archibald was not so liked.
Roland was kind and loved and good. Archibald was not so good.
Yeah, Archibald is a warlock of absurd power.
Is he strong? Like he's I mean like he's a hero of Might and Magic, and all of them are very strong.
Yes.
He's
an expert in nuclear physics.
which I don't think will help in this fight.
Um,
But he's also a master sorcerer.
yeah,
He could just like lightning bolt is a very easy spell he could do in day one.
Yeah.
Which would take out Dracula right there.
Yeah, well, Dracula's just like what, a greater vampire?
Yeah. Well, yeah, basically. I mean they're based on Dracula, so
Yeah.
So I don't think... okay, but of course, don't forget, this isn't the arena anymore. So, but Archibald, yeah. So he's a talented fighter. He's a talented general.
He's very conniving.
He's a smart scientist. He's very duplicitous, conniving, and he's a master wizard as well.
Yeah.
And we're going Here's My Magic week 1. So what that means is he has a week to gather resources, supplies, and an army, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. You could get a pretty decent army in a week.
It's week 1 on not Slugfest.
On some... I don't think he should get an army, just himself.
Okay.
Yeah. But he has his spells.
Yeah.
His spells are very strong.
No, he has had the armor, so he could gather some magic items in week 1, but he doesn't get the army with him.
Okay. Yeah. So they can help him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because...
So he kind of like the tax collectors
Yeah.
thing he accidentally picked up.
If he fights Lincoln, he can have an army. All right. They're bloodlusted. Okay, that doesn't change either of them.
No.
Well, Archibald's in a more sneaky scenario. He might try to just hire someone to take out Dracula for him. But in a straight up fight, I think
He starts with a spell book.
Yeah.
In week 1, would you get a level 2
or 3? Yeah, easy.
Easy?
Yeah. I mean, if you're preparing for an arena battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could get tier 2 or 3.
Well, even then, he casts slow on Dracula.
Yeah, and then a couple magic arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Archibald has it. They're 30 feet apart. Now, Dracula's speed could be a factor there.
Yeah.
This is Here's My Magic 2, so Archibald doesn't have tactics in order to go first. But...
Well, he doesn't have an army, so he can't cast spells.
Yeah. So Dracula... Actually, Dracula's speed might... Although they're very durable, the hero... so a hero of Might and Magic is essentially the RPG Might and Magic. So
yeah.
Think like the Dragonborn from Skyrim. Like each of them is basically that sort of level in RPG.
And he's a boss in some of the games.
Yeah, so I think Archibald has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
He is a hero of Might and Magic in his ability.
Are we going to do this like now it's Caiaphas Cain versus Archibald and these two?
No, we will...
Reshuffle them again?
Reshuffle, I think.
Okay. And we'll reshuffle these each thing or just go through them?
Go through them.
Okay. Except the other way around.
I thought you had the wrong deck there for a second.
No, we're not. It's not going to be God versus Hitler.
Yeah.
In a fashion contest or something. Although...
I think God always wins.
But if Hugo Boss is on Hitler's side...
It's true, but they're also on God's side.
Wait, what? Think about what you just said.
I am, and I'm going to stand by it.
You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. All right. Next up, we have a mongoose.
Wait a minute.
Special powers, all else is equal.
What does that mean?
Versus Twig. Twig Vicingetorix, or whatever his name is.
From the Edge Chronicles.
With a Banderbear and a Caterbird.
So, the mongoose, all else is equal, means that if it was to fight a fish, the fish would be able to swim through the air and exist in weird semi-water while the mongoose fought it. And this comes from, we had these animal cards when we were a kid, and we basically hold them and you play one and then the other person had played there and you'd see which one would win. So it's basically like a game of war, basically, but done with these animal cards. And we had an argument about a mongoose fighting a pike.
Yeah.
And I said that the mongoose would win. Cameron said that it wouldn't because
pikes are fast.
Fast. But then I was like, but the pike is a water creature. It's a cat. It would eat us. Anyways, long story short, the mongoose would beat a pike, and I think that Twig would kill the mongoose.
Okay, so let's introduce Twig as well. So Twig is, we'll say Twig at his height.
Yeah.
So Twig is a sky pirate captain. He's not much of a fighter, though, but he is fairly competent.
Yeah.
Person in general, like not so much at fighting, but just everything in general. A Banderbear is basically like a grizzly bear. Or like a
grizzly bear with hands.
Yeah, like a big grizzly that can...
manipulate tools.
Yeah.
And it has massive claws.
And a Caterbird is kind of like a giant...
Eldritch
toucan.
horror bird.
Yeah, they're like a giant toucan sort of creature that spins cocoons and...
can see the future.
Yeah, and they're... I kind of considered it would be overpowered to give him the Caterbird, possibly, but...
The Caterbird can't fight.
Well, it does. At one point, it attacks someone. The Glumglozer, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Well...
A Caterbird is basically an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're not, like, super...
So, basically, we have a sky pirate. So, basically, a pirate in a flying ship.
Yeah, with
a giant bear.
He's got a sword and a giant bird.
Yeah, and we've got a
mongoose.
A mongoose with all else being equal.
Yeah, so the mongoose can, go up into the air to take down the Caterbird.
Yes.
And it has Well, no, Twig doesn't get his skyship. I would have
No.
put that there otherwise. Otherwise, the mongoose would get one too, right? Because
Yeah.
all else being... So the mongoose does have a cutlass.
Yep. Does it have a Vanderbeer? All else is equal. Does it get a
I guess
Vanderbeer?
I guess it gets a Vanderbeer. All right.
All right, so the Vanderbeer cancels out the Vanderbeer.
The Caterbird
cancels out the Caterbird
So it's Twig versus a mongoose.
with a sword.
And the mongoose can fly.
I think Twig still wins. It's just a mongoose.
Flying mongoose with a sword versus...
What's a mongoose story do with a sword?
It's going to fly around you and like...
Does this all else being equal means it also is aware it's in an arena it has to fight?
I guess so. Okay, but you think Twig defeats the
Yes.
flying mongoose with a sword?
Yes,
Okay.
easily.
Okay. All right. You never know. You never know. All right. Lancelot. So, Lancelot, special power. His foes don't know who they're up against.
All right.
So, I guess even if Twig had his Caterbird, he'd be like, "Good, I don't know.
Yes.
Who's that
And
mysterious
who
knight?"
is Lancelot? If you don't know, too bad.
Lancelot is the greatest of King Arthur's knights.
Second greatest.
I think he's the greatest. Like, there's Gawain and Galad, who are the other options, and
Yeah.
Galad isn't really King Arthur's knight, because he kind of comes into his own after King Arthur dies, right? More or less. Well, I guess they're around.
The guy who found the Holy Grail is the greatest.
Yeah, Galad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
His heart...
Galahad, sorry.
Galahad. His heart is pure and he has a
Yeah,
strength
yeah,
of 10
but I
men.
wouldn't really call him one of King Arthur's knights exactly. Like, he's his son, right? Or his... No, Gawain's his son.
Yeah.
Gawain's his son and his brother or something.
It is best not to think about Arthur's family tree.
Yeah, it's his nephew and his son or something. Or his nephew and his brother, something like that. Anyways, so Lancelot, one of the greatest knights ever in Arthurian legend. He doesn't really have many feats to his name other than defeating King Arthur in a fight.
Crossing the sword.
Crossing a bridge of sword, rescuing Guinevere,
He fought 3 guys in the tower.
defeating 3 knights, and he won the tournament that Arthur hosted.
Yeah, also he beat those knights after he crossed the sword. So his hands were like messed up.
And defeating King Arthur is no easy feat either.
No.
Yeah, so he is a very good knight. Was he the one called the Peerless Knight? Was that him? Or is that...
He is the perilous
Okay.
knight, not the peerless.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, so he'll be up against Finn McCool. So Finn McCool is the founder of and head of the Fianna, which is a group of... It's kind of like the Irish Justice League.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of super soldiers that were trained, or maybe they're like the Navy SEALs. They were trained by Finn McCool. So they have to go through all sorts of training. Like, you have to run like at sprinting speeds under branches that are like a foot off the ground. You have to be buried up to your waist and then dodge spears that are thrown at you while you're stuck in the ground. You have to be able to jump 7 feet in the air. And that's just to get into the group.
Yeah.
And then Finn McCool's the best of them. He's also a highly magical person. He can put curses on people. His hands heal any who they touch.
If he scoops up water from a well.
Yeah, he can. Well, he can. Any water he draws is healing water that will
Yeah.
cure any injury. He's
Just an insanely good fighter.
He's the Fianna. So to give an example, I don't know if I've ever told you the tale of Tir na Nog, but so Finn McCool's son goes off to Tir na Nog, and he stays there accidentally for hundreds of years. He comes back shortly after St. Patrick has come to Ireland and kicked everyone out. Destroyed the Fianna essentially. The Fianna fell to corruption, and so he comes to Ireland after men are like they are now, and he sees several men trying to lift this, like 3 or 4 men trying to move a boulder from the road, and they can't move it. And so he leans down from his horse and picks it up with one hand and throws it to the side. And he wonders how men became so weak.
The training of the Fianna is you have to run underneath a pole that is at knee height.
Yeah, I said that.
Did you say
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And block acorns thrown at you with a...
Yeah, and spears thrown at you when you're buried to your waist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, his son, who's one of the Fianna, could lift up a boulder with one hand that 4 strong men couldn't.
Yeah.
And Finn McCool's the greatest of the Fianna.
And what's the arena?
However, Lancelot and Finn McCool will not be fighting in a normal arena. So this would be a close fight.
Yes.
I think I'd be leaning towards Lancelot in a normal fight. But
I think I would too.
But it would be close. And if Finn could... Now, the thing about Lancelot, you could bewitch him, right? Like, he is known for being kind of vulnerable to everything that isn't fighting.
Yeah.
And I think Finn McCool is a wizard, right?
Yeah.
So that could be an interesting... But they will be having a race. Oh, Finn McCool.
Yes.
Finn McCool wins. Easy. Okay, that's not even close.
Yes, Finn McCool is a lot faster than Lancelot at running.
Wow, poor Lancelot. In a tournament of battles, he's kicked out by a
Race against Finn McCool.
He happens to go against like the fastest guy in here. Probably. I don't think there's anyone faster than Finn McCool. Unless I have Achilles or
Samus.
something. Samus, I guess, maybe, yeah.
She's very fast.
Yeah, she is, but Finn is also very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we have Mystery Inc. So, Scooby-Doo and the gang. And these people have a special power. They always have at least 15 minutes prep time. They can split up. They can look for clues. They can build traps.
They have a standard episode time of prep time.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, and they're up against Picard. So Mr. Ink. So it's a giant Great Dane, and for
Teenagers.
Like 19-year-olds. Like teenager gives kind of the wrong impression.
Yeah.
They're like college students. But
Yeah.
And they're some of them are very smart. Some of them are very strong. And Shaggy's there too.
Yeah.
And Velma's there as well.
All right, we are not giving Ultra Instinct Shaggy.
No. Just this is normal.
Yeah.
Not going crazy here. We're not even going to say like, gold-plated tank or whatever. Like, because I know that they own one for some reason.
Yeah.
It's just this is the gang first season.
Yeah.
Some kids looking to help some people out. They're up against Picard in the Enterprise. So they are also in the Enterprise.
Yes. So Picard's special power. Picard is the captain of the starship XS Enterprise.
Yeah.
He is from Star Trek. Is basically 2,000 years, I think, in our future.
I don't know when it is.
No, it's not 2,000. It's like a couple.
It's not too far in the future.
It's a couple hundred. It's like 200 years in our future. And our setup is Picard is on the Enterprise, which is his ship. So any contest they're in, Picard has home ground.
Yeah. All fights will happen in his ship. So this is like a Scooby-Doo episode right here, right? Running around, they go into the holodeck, they run out, Picard's chasing them down the halls.
It's not Picard because it's a holo deck episode, so he's wearing disguise. So he's dressed up as William Shakespeare.
Right, so they've got to take down Picard and
Picard's disguise is William Shakespeare.
So they've got to reveal who Shakespeare actually is. So this is, I think the gang has this.
I think Picard has it.
Okay, so here's my thought. They have 15 minutes to go around, look for traps.
Yeah.
Fred very quickly gets a hand on the situation. Shaggy and Scooby stumble into the holodeck. They start goofing around with it. They figure out a little bit.
They went holodeck. They'd find a replicator and just start bringing food.
Well, that too. They go to both places maybe. Or maybe Velma goes into the holodeck. She loses her glasses in there. She's looking for them. She puts them back on and suddenly she's in like France or something. She's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Daphne, maybe holodeck. Oh, I can go to a fashion show or something, right? I could see it either way. So I think Fred, his mind starts racing. Like, hey, we got all these doors. We've got all these weapons lying around, these stun weapons.
Do you know what's hilarious? Is the antics of the door scene would actually
it's perfect here, because there's so many doors. Now, the problem is they didn't actually have automatic doors on the Enterprise. They had two people waiting behind the wall that would pull the door back as the actor walked towards it. And if the actor walked too fast or the people weren't paying attention, the actor would walk into the door.
Yeah.
So the door scene's going to be tricky because they're going to have to pull them out. But now Picard, he knows the location, he knows the place. But like, I think Picard, he's a captain, he's an older man. He gets jumped by Fred alone. Like, he's done, right? But then you've got three other people and a Great Dane. They can just hide behind a door and wait for him to walk in.
So Picard's on the ship without his crew. He's running it by himself?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Enterprise is massive.
Yeah.
The 15 minutes, though, is a lot of time for them to try to figure the thing out.
Yeah.
Picard does have a phaser.
Yeah. But he's not going to set it to kill, right?
No, it'll be set to stun.
Yeah.
I think basically it depends on if they have Velma. Could she figure out the Enterprise computer?
Nah. Well, I want to say no, but they sometimes make Velma... Okay, so here's... Some episodes make Velma stupidly smart, but I want to go like first season...
Like classic.
She's a smart kid, right?
Yeah.
She's not a super genius that can just hack into the Enterprise. Like, I just want her to be like, 120 IQ college student, 140, let's say, even IQ college student. Like, even Einstein, you put him on... He's not going to learn how to hack the machine, right?
Yeah.
Because he's not a hacker, for one thing. But that's the thing. Most people aren't.
Yeah.
If Velma was a master hacker, maybe we have a different story, but that's not really...
Because what I think would happen is...
and Daphne is trained in martial arts, so...
Yeah, and Shaggy is a track and field champion.
So these are three fit people, and Velma.
And a Great Dane.
And a Great Dane, right? So Picard, even if they just rush him down the hall, Picard, like, how many can he stun in time?
He is actually a very good marksman.
Yeah.
The other thing is he could go computer, isolate sector.
Right, but he has to do that. I guess he has to act first then in order to do that, right?
Yeah.
And can you just like lock down sections of
Yes.
this? Okay.
And he could, if he gets to the transporter room, he could put them into the brig.
I feel like, Mr. Ink, like the gang, they always have weird skills, right?
Yeah.
Like Shaggy's a ventriloquist, for example.
Yeah.
I feel like they could imitate Picard and be like, computer, do this, and then...
Well, would they think to do that? So I think it'd be a lot of antics.
Yeah.
But
So
here's the thing. So Mr. Ink, they have the 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And part of that is Mr. Ink always wins out in the end.
yeah.
Picard also always wins out in the end. So those two powers nullify
I don't think we should do that narrative thing because otherwise all the
Yeah.
heroes always win. Like Kaifus always wins, right? Like yeah.
Yeah. So we're not even doing that.
Yeah.
So with just a relative, they have 15 minutes. I think they get distracted and lost on the Enterprise, and Picard would just lock them down.
Yeah, well, so they wander for 15 minutes. One of Shaggy and Scooby encounter Picard to start with. That's how it goes, right? Because it's always
He's
Shaggy
dressed
and
up
Scooby.
as William Shakespeare.
Yeah, he's just practicing on the holodeck or something. They stumble in there after gorging themselves on the replicator until the replicator stops working.
Yeah.
And so they go in there. Picard sees them. They're like, oh, we got to get that ghoul or something.
Yeah.
And so Picard stuns them both, takes them down. And then he's like, okay, there's invaders on the ship. Computer, where are they? And they're like, okay, they're in these sectors, right? Lock them down. And then, so he split them off. So does Fred normally go with Daphne and Velma or just Daphne?
Yes, he goes with the girls.
Okay.
And then either Velma or Daphne get separated from Fred at some point. But we're not doing the narrative thing.
Right. So Fred's with those, but we are doing their strategies, right?
Yeah.
So Fred's with Velma and Daphne. So, which kind of makes sense, right? Like you want the strongest guy with the two women, and then you want the...
You have a track and field champion with a giant dog.
Yeah, they can take care of themselves, right? Yeah. And Daphne, she could take care of herself on her own level, but you want a group of more than one person.
Yeah.
And also, she's still a slight woman.
Yeah.
Like, Fred's huge, right?
Yes.
So that helps.
Fred can tear the head off a zombie.
Yeah. So now he's isolated Fred and Daphne and Velma.
Yeah.
He's going in to take them down, put them in the brig or something.
He would go to the transport room and transport them there.
Now, how long does the phaser take to wear off? Because I feel like this is the point where Shaggy and Scooby, they break free and then they start... Do they do a hallway chase with Picard?
I think they would be unstunned after a certain point. It can last quite a while depending on the settings. If you are hit by enough stuns, you can get killed. But there'd be some antics. But the thing, yes, they're in an arena, they're fighting, but they would have trouble taking Picard down.
Yeah, but then how does Picard win? Right, he has to put them in prison or something. Right?
He neutralized all of them in the brig.
Yeah. So he has to drag...
No, he goes to the transport room and just teleports them into it. You can teleport people inside.
Oh, okay.
So he just teleports each of them into the prison.
Okay, and this is obviously where, you teleport them in and suddenly Shaggy's wearing Fred's clothes and Scooby's got Daphne's, skirt on and stuff because the teleporter messes up like that.
Yeah.
But, so I'm kind of wondering, okay, can he take on Velma, Daphne, and Fred all at once? On his own? Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Because, Fred can dodge, right? There's it was Scooby-Doo, the aliens one where they're shooting lasers at him. He jumps behind the rock, and then they summon the illusionary dragon that makes that tornado. And
he won't even fight them. He'd just go through a door and lock it. And there's no way they can.
Well, they could pick the lock, right?
No, you can't pick those locks.
But do you think
he'd just isolate them in parts of his ship?
Why don't they isolate the Borg or something?
Because the Borg can teleport.
Could they figure out the teleporter?
Oh, definitely not.
Okay.
The transporter is immensely complicated.
So it's just Picard So if Picard survives the first encounter with Scooby and Shaggy, then he can just lock down the ship afterwards. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to Shaggy and Scooby then. First shot's got to miss so that they can see him and run, right? That's
There's no narrative powers.
Right.
You said they have 15 minutes. You didn't say they had cartoon antics.
Yeah. So I think the ship is so big that they're not even sure of their goal by the time Picard shows up.
Yeah.
And then when they do, Picard can just lock them down. Because
Fred,
he can make a trap for the situation, but he needs to know what he's up against first.
Yeah.
And so what if Fred finds the holodeck instead of Shaggy and Scooby?
So he would win because he could set up any trap in there.
Yeah.
However, I'm not going to have a 1 in 5 victory to beat someone.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Picard wins, I guess, because of the Enterprise. Shouldn't have given that stupid shit. Nah, that's it. Wait, was that actually... That was just a straight-up duel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, next one. We have Year 1 Batman. And he's able to call a friend. So he can call up Harvey, or he can call up Commissioner Gordon.
Or Alfred.
He can just ask for a little bit of help.
Yeah.
In a time of need.
He can talk to Richard Dragon.
He's not a detective. He can talk to Ra's al Ghul by this point, I think. Or did they have a falling out?
They had a fallout at that point.
Okay.
But he could talk to any of the other students of the Master.
Yeah. So Batman, he's not a master fight. He's still an amazing fighter, but he doesn't quite understand all his equipment.
He doesn't have Superman or Justice League yet.
He doesn't have his bulletproof gear. He doesn't have any of the Justice League, and he's also He's not a detective at this point. No. Yeah. All right. And it's Batman, I think.
That's your other card.
No, this is the arena.
Okay.
Because this is a special event now. All right. And Batman is up against Diomedes, who has Athena's wisdom on his side.
So this is Diomedes with the fireball helmet.
Oh, I guess by that point he would be, yeah.
And the winged shoes.
And did Diomedes have winged shoes?
No, he had the fireball helmet.
He had the breastplate, I think, of Hephaestus.
Yeah.
Okay, so Diomedes is an invincible fighter who defeated gods in combat.
Yes.
And has the goddess of wisdom guiding him.
Yeah. Wisdom and war.
Yeah. So basically Batman.
Yeah. And he has a helmet that can shoot fireballs.
Yeah.
And a chest plate that is indestructible.
Yeah. He's not actually invincible, but his armor is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so the fight will...
But the fight is taking place in an arena.
Yeah, so Diomedes, he is a fairly hot-headed person.
Yeah.
You could, I think, like the Mr. Ink, they could probably put him in a trap.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd succeed because he's Diomedes. He's from the Odyssey, I believe. Or not the Iliad. I think he's from the Iliad. He
defeated Ares and was going to
kill him.
He
lost to Apollo.
Yeah, and then so Apollo had to stop him.
Yeah. Or he didn't really lose to Apollo, but Apollo was able to stun him with balls of light, basically.
Yeah.
And then Athena said, hey, I'm not going to help you if you kill Apollo. So
yeah.
If he could. It's not really certain if he could have killed Apollo, because I'm a little bothered about him defeating Ares, actually. Like,
okay,
has Ares ever fought anyone else?
Here's the thing about Ares. I'm pretty certain that Ares is the Worf of the Greek gods.
Yeah, well, that's what bothers me. Like, I would like to see more examples of Ares actually fighting mortals, because, like, Diomedes is the only one I know of. And Diomedes won, right? And so it's like, wait, is Ares good or not at fighting? Like,
well, he's a god of war, not a god of fighting.
Now, Diomedes did have the blessing of another god of war on him. So maybe I shouldn't have given him Athena's blessing. But
and he had indestructible armor and a helmet that shot fireballs.
Yeah, but it is Ares. Like, you think he would...
Is Diomedes a demigod or just...
I don't think so. I think he's just immortal.
He's just awesome.
Yeah, he's just... I'm pretty sure he's just immortal, but he might be a well, actually, okay. Under Greek rules, the only demigod is Hercules.
Okay.
There is no other demigod, but he might... one of his parents might be a god.
Okay.
Yeah. But Hercules is the only demigod. Okay. But they are having a pistol duel.
That's not fair. So, pistol duel. Crossbows aren't even invented at the point of Diomedes. So Diomedes doesn't know what he's holding.
Yeah.
But Batman refuses to use a gun. Okay, I think what happens is Batman throws the pistol at Diomedes' head.
Yeah.
It does nothing. Diomedes throws the pistol at Batman.
Yeah.
It does nothing.
Do you think Athena could tell him how to use the pistol?
Okay, Athena could tell him how to use the pistol.
She's like a god of war, right?
Yeah, and Batman would dodge. Because you're allowed to dodge in a pistol duel. Yeah, dodging is a huge part of it.
Year one Batman?
Yes.
You think Year one Batman would dodge?
It's a pistol.
Yeah, but, like, he's not bulletproof and he's not, like, super fast or anything.
Yeah, but it's not about speed, it's about dodging.
Yeah. Okay, so what happens with a draw in a... they have to team up against the next two people.
Sure.
Or... okay, sure. Let's just do... Okay. Batman and Diomedes versus... in just a normal arena battle?
Well, that's the next one. It'll be a normal arena battle.
Oh, so whatever the next one would be.
Yeah.
Okay, Batman and Diomedes on a team now. Are they on a team forever now?
No.
Okay.
They'll get shuffled into the winners group.
Oh, right, because two are going out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they shoot at each other. Diomedes maybe figures out the gun. Batman dodges, and they're like, no, we need to work together against the greater threat.
Yeah.
Which is... Now, Diomedes, as well, he was on Athena's side, which I believe was the Trojans.
Yeah.
So Diomedes is a bad guy from a Western modern perspective.
No, he
was on Achilles' side?
Athena was on Achilles' side.
Oh, okay, so then...
Athena was on the side of the main character from the Odyssey.
Odysseus?
Yeah, Athena liked Odysseus as well. She's the one who told him to build the Blade Horse.
Okay, so Diomedes was the enemy of Poseidon.
Yeah.
And Apollo was on Troy's side? Or did Apollo just not want the gods
Apollo was sent by Zeus.
No. What happened was Diomedes defeated Ares, and then Aphrodite attacked Diomedes, and then Diomedes was going to kill Aphrodite, and Apollo saved Aphrodite's life.
Yeah.
So Apollo might have not been on their side. He was just...
Yeah. No, that's right. He beat up both the god of love and the god of war.
Yeah.
He beat up two gods.
Yeah, so he was... But why was Aphrodite coming to save Ares? Again,
She came to save Ares because it's her boo.
Didn't Perseus defeat Ares as well? And Perseus... Like, Ares never wins. Yeah. All right. So they're up against a tag team of Steve from Minecraft, who is, the most popular game in the world. He's a little blocky man that can build stuff.
He's not little. He's
Okay, he's like a 6.5 foot tall blocky man.
Yes.
Who can carry quintillions of tons of gold.
Yes.
Which I don't think is really an indicator of his strength. I think
No.
it's more of like, hammer space wormhole type
Yes.
situation going on. Bag of holding type situation. He has leather armor and wooden tools right now, but he keeps his inventory between
Now,
fights.
that being said, he can punch through solid diamond with his fist.
Yeah, and he can also, he's able to pick up the arena, right? Like, he can take the sand from
Yeah.
the arena. So he's allowed to grab stuff during the fight. He can run away, build stuff. I don't think he would be able to outspeed Diomedes.
No.
Or, well, maybe Batman, but probably not.
Well, I actually calculated his speed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How fast is he?
He isn't faster than Usain Bolt at sprinting.
Yeah.
He's pretty fast. The main thing is he has insane endurance.
Right.
He's a long distance runner, and
he's fast.
Like a normal person's sprint.
Oh, yeah, you made that big
Yeah.
YouTube video.
A normal
Yeah.
person's sprint can go a little bit faster than him, but he can do it way longer than you can.
Yeah, so I think, so Batman probably can't catch him. Diomedes probably can.
Yeah.
Because he has, like, gods on his side.
Yeah.
And he can shoot fireballs. Oh, interesting. And Steve has Ash Ketchum on his team. So, Ash Ketchum, his power is that he will add his previous foes to his team, but only the previous round's foe.
Yeah.
So he can't just build up a team over
Yeah.
the course of the entire thing. Now, I think he should also start with a couple Pokemon, or at least one, like Pikachu. Maybe his entire red team, like Lapras, Pikachu, Snorlax. But I think just Pikachu, maybe?
Sure, we'll give him Pikachu.
Just Pikachu?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think Pikachu beats Batman. Controversial, maybe.
Year one Batman.
Yeah. But I think there's not much you can do against Pikachu.
Yeah.
Like, I think...
I think later...
Batman has, like, electric-proof armor and
Yeah.
stuff. Insulated armor. But I don't think Batman would be expecting to be shot by lightning.
Yeah, but Pikachu's lightning has never been shown to actually kill anyone.
It did a number on Ash when they first met, right?
Yeah.
Like, put him into that coma and had him hallucinate, like, 7 or 8 series.
Yeah, I think that Pikachu does beat...
I think Pikachu could disable Batman at the very least. And I think he also was able... Pikachu was able to take down Onyx with a lightning bolt, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's a block of stone. So even if Batman had insulated armor, I don't think it would stop Pikachu. The other thing is, year one Batman, he's dealing with gangsters. He hasn't met supervillains yet. That's year 2, where supervillains start becoming a thing. So he doesn't know about all these, like, edge of science and magic abilities that he has to deal with. So I guess in Batman's case it's all science, but I think Pikachu takes out Batman. Pikachu kind of doesn't have the power of Zeus, right? Zeus has the power of annihilation, but Pikachu is very strong all the same. But I think Diomedes
shoots fireballs out of his helmet.
Yeah, I think Diomedes could withstand Pikachu's lightning.
Yeah, but while that's going on, you have Steve in the background dismantling the sand arena.
Yeah.
Then while they're fighting, he goes behind Diomedes, makes several blocks above him, then drops tons of sand on his head.
I think a nerd pole would actually be a massive tactical advantage.
Yes.
Like, you can basically build yourself the high ground whenever you want, and then you can just drop stuff from it. Now, that said...
And we say it's a sand arena, so he can drop sand on your head.
That said, Diomedes and Batman are both very intelligent fighters, right?
Yeah.
Diomedes isn't going to fight Pikachu, he's going to fight Ash.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to see Ash's...
Well, that's the thing. So, that's actually I was thinking, like, they would eliminate Batman, but so they're working together. So Pikachu is lightning bolting Batman.
Yeah.
Diomedes is going to get in the way.
Well, that's also assuming Pikachu knew... That's assuming Ash knows who to go for, right?
Yeah.
Like, you see a dude in ancient armor, and you see a nightmare in, like, black cloth pointing... You're going to be like, that Batman thing is... I guess Batman's probably the scarier one, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to... so Pikachu take on Batman.
But Diomedes is going to protect Batman.
But Diomedes will protect Batman.
And I think with the armor of Hephaestus, I think he can tank some of that lightning.
Yeah, well, also, like, just Athena's aura can protect him, right?
Yeah,
like,
and also, like, he has range as well. He has the helmet.
Because I don't quite know what it is, but I think Athena's basically nullifying the other gods' powers around her.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't... Like, Zeus killed a woman by showing her his true form, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's how powerful the Greek gods are.
Yeah.
But...
one of the things, you can't judge other Greek gods' powers by the power
Well,
of
Zeus is much more powerful.
Yeah, Zeus is...
But Aphrodite is kind of more on Zeus's level, and... Because she's a Titan, right?
Yeah.
And...
Even then, Zeus outstrips, I think, even Titans. Like, Zeus is absurd.
Yeah. I suppose there is that.
Like, maybe Dionysus and Hermes are on the level of Zeus, but not in raw power, just in mythic ability.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're kind of like the Jesus to Zeus's god, right? Like,
Yeah.
Dionysus and Hermes are kind of Jesus. Like, well, Dionysus especially is basically just Jesus. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Diomedes, Batman, and now the thing is, again, Pikachu's not going to start full blast because that does exhaust him. So he disables Batman. Diomedes is like, okay, I need to get over there, or I need to take down.
Yeah, and year one Batman's young and tough.
Yeah, I don't think Batman's out of the fight, but he's stunned, right?
Yeah.
So he's down for a bit. Diomedes is going to think, okay, I need to take down. Well, it's tricky. What's the best play? Do you go for Ash? Because Pikachu, has a mind of his own.
I think the thing, if Diomedes kicks Pikachu in the midriff,
Yeah,
Pikachu's going down.
Pikachu's tough. Like the fights, like gets tail whipped by Onix.
I
or
guess
something.
so. Yeah.
Pikachu is also very, very fast.
Yes.
Pikachu could probably dodge just about anything either of them do.
Yeah.
I think this is tricky because I want Ash to win. But but I also think Pikachu.
Well, they do have Steve as well,
yeah,
and Steve is a monster of strength.
and I think Pikachu might be able to take them on his own.
Yeah.
Like Iron Tail, quick attack, Ultra Speed or whatever it's called.
He did beat a god. He beat 2.
Yeah, Diomedes.
He's no slouch.
No, but he was stopped by Apollo, God of Light. What can Pikachu do? Flash.
Pikachu.
That's literally a move from Pokemon.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that move.
Yeah, but he could. I mean, in theory. Okay, but anyway, I think Pikachu at least can fight them to a standstill, right?
So here's another.
I think Diomedes has a slight edge.
So here's the thing: is Ash is Pikachu's strategist in fighting, and Pikachu will fight without Ash, but he's nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
And so if Diomedes and Batman are both strategists, hear Ash giving Pikachu orders.
Yeah.
Like it's a battering to the temple or a fireball to the
Yeah.
face.
So Ash is down.
Yeah.
And Pikachu is much less effective without Ash.
Yeah.
So okay, so the battle starts. They see each other. Ash goes for Batman. Batman's down. Diomedes is like, okay, I need to deal with Pikachu probably.
And that freak.
So Diomedes charges Pikachu. Can't catch Pikachu. Batman. Now the question is, so Pikachu switches to dealing with Diomedes, lightning bolting him, dodging around, Iron Tail, whatever it takes. Batman's back up. Batman sees Ash being the tactical mastermind here. Batman can take out Ash, no problem. The question is, what is Steve doing this whole time? Because Steve could be building a fortress for Ash, right?
Yeah.
Like, the question is, how smart is Steve? Because Steve isn't, like, I guess Steve is like the only warrior on a world beset by foes, in a sense. Doesn't mean he's a great tactician. But, like, what...
To beat the Ender Dragon, you cannot beat it by pure skill. You have to be clever. You have to build up your arsenal. Same with beating the Wither. You can't just, like, run out with a wooden sword. You actually have to...
And Steve has wooden tools as well, so he could build a furnace. He doesn't have anything to
He doesn't
burn.
have enough time.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he could, like, make a glass window for Ash to look out of while
No,
Ash is giving orders.
like...
Because he could build, like, a sand wall around Ash.
Yeah.
But then it's harder for Ash to give commands to Pikachu. Ash is pretty tough as well.
Yeah.
Ash has taken hits from Pokemon before, right?
Yeah.
So Batman batterings Ash. Ash is down for a little bit. Steve is like, okay, I gotta protect Ash. Can Steve hold off Diomedes and Batman long enough for Ash to recover?
Well, Steve is a good damage dealer. I think the amount of damage he can take is
pretty low. Like,
yeah.
he can get punched, yeah.
Yeah. So...
But can he, like, he could just build... He can build walls faster than Diomedes or Batman can take them down.
He could quick wall, but he might get caught out and hit. Like the low durability of Steve, I think, is a big problem.
But imagine like a meter by meter of sand just in front of you. It's like it's hard to get past that, right? Like he just does. Boop, 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 boop,
yeah, for most people, but this is Batman and Diagnoses. Like Batman jumps over things.
Yeah,
and
but like Steve could just and the sand falls, so he can't just build.
But he can drop the sand on you.
Yeah. So is Steve? I think Steve's best option here is not to defend Ash, but to go on the offensive.
Yeah.
So he starts dropping sand on them. I don't think that's enough.
No.
Pikachu is still here, though, remember. Like, Ash isn't giving Pikachu commands, but Pikachu's still here. Pikachu's angry. Ash is taken down. So Pikachu and Steve are running interference on Diomedes and Batman.
Can Pikachu take Diomedes down? Because Pikachu runs out of PP.
I think long run Diomedes probably has the edge. It's hard to say, though. Like Pikachu,
And Pikachu is focused on hitting Batman.
like Pikachu goes all out, let's say, lightning bolt that would take down Onix.
Actually, like in some of the further movies, Pikachu's lightning's absurd how powerful it can
But
be.
even if we just go like the first season, right?
Yeah.
Like Pikachu takes down Raichu.
Yeah.
Pikachu takes down Onix. Like Raichu has a ground built into himself. You can't even ground yourself against Pikachu's lightning.
Yeah.
Pikachu has Headbutt, very powerful move. I think if Pikachu Headbutt Diomedes, does Diomedes ever gets? Now Diomedes isn't considered the best fighter that the Greeks have.
Oh, but he also has the wisdom of Athena.
Yeah.
So Athena can tell him how to fight people. She's a god of war.
Yeah, but she might have never seen him Ash catch him before either. She's figuring it out, but
Yeah.
it's like having Wu Sheng is his name, I think. It's like having Wu Sheng on your side.
Yeah.
It's like he can figure it out quickly, but he's still like like Steve is whipping stuff out of nowhere, and you're like, what? And suddenly there's a wall of stone in front of you or something.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is a tough one.
yeah,
I think Batman gets taken out, but he can get back up again.
this is a weirdly close fight.
So Pikachu takes out Batman.
Yeah,
Diomedes then's going
Diomedes. Yeah.
is going to fight Pikachu and Ash.
Yeah,
Batman's going to get up
take down Ash.
and take down Ash potentially, but he's going to be fighting Steve. I think at the beginning, Steve is gathering resources, like the very first burst. Like,
Yeah.
Steve has to get resources. So he's going to get some of the stone wall of the arena. He's going to get some of the wooden pillars.
Well, are they just like in the middle of the arena right now? They have to like run to get it?
Yeah,
Steve might just be digging down to get some sand and stuff, right?
Well, no, he could run to the walls pretty quickly. And Ash would also retreat towards the...
How far away are the walls? 30 feet as well? Or
Sure.
Okay, so because that is a ways to go then, right?
Not for Steve.
Yeah.
Like, Steve has insane endurance and speed.
Yeah. And he only has wooden tools, but he can upgrade... He needs wood. So it's like Steve's biggest weakness right now is he needs wood.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's wooden pillars and stone walls.
Okay. So Steve is trying to build a crafting table, get some stone, get some...
Like, if he has wooden tools to start with, he can do that.
He can upgrade to stone fairly quickly.
You can do that in like 20 seconds.
He has to get to the wall, and then he has to build maybe like 30 seconds. That's a long time, right? But I don't think Ash is standing at the end of that, but Pikachu is still going.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing here, Steve and Diomedes are much more willing to kill than Batman and Ash.
Yeah.
Right, like, Diomedes sees Ash get up again, he just stabs Ash.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, I'm just going to take out Ash. Because Diomedes was willing to kill a god. Like,
Yeah.
Diomedes does not care.
Yeah, that's the thing. Diomedes stabs Pikachu if Pikachu ever gets tired.
Yeah, but I don't think he could. But
I think Diomedes can out-endure Pikachu.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't think, like, Ash, there's not much Ash can do against Diomedes. Because Steve's over there getting wood and tools.
Yeah.
Ash has nothing to defend him from Diomedes except for Pikachu.
Yeah.
If Ash injures Batman with Pikachu, can he capture Batman?
It's after the fight, that's what you said.
Yeah, but he's got some spare Can you use Pokeballs on humans?
No.
Can you use them offensively and just, like...
Ash has thrown that at people's faces.
Okay.
Like, here's the thing. Ash is the type of trainer, especially early Ash, which we're doing first season, which is if you're beating up Pikachu too much, he will run forward and punch you. Now, that being said, there is a scene in the first season where Ash runs forward to punch James,
Yeah.
and James kicks him.
Yeah.
And Ash goes down, because he's a kid getting kicked by an adult colonel.
Yeah. But Ash has also taken hits from... Like, Ash isn't very strong, but he is he's very durable.
Yeah.
Like, Ash has even died, right? Like,
Yeah.
he had Mewtwo, like, kill him or whatever happened there. Well, Mew and Mewtwo fighting.
He's died like 3 times.
So I don't think Batman's much of a factor in this fight, honestly. It's kind of like... So Ash is down, Diomedes is fighting Pikachu, Batman's back up, Steve now has stone tools, he's on top of the arena, he's stealing the pews from under the people in the...
Yeah.
And now Steve's like, I gotta help Pikachu. He just walls over because he can defy physics, right?
Batman can curve his batarangs around
Yeah.
things. So, like, Steve's cover is kind of negated by the batarang throws. And, like, a batarang takes out a heart.
Or half a heart, or like a snowball or something, you know? But...
No, I think a snowball deals no damage.
Yeah.
It takes, like, half a heart out.
So, Steve needs some food, so runs among the stands, grabbing their popcorn.
Yes.
Because I think Steve, like, if he has food, he can keep going, right?
Yeah.
So Steve has a bunch of Roman popcorn, whatever is in this arena. Batman only has so many boomerangs. This is year 1 Batman. He doesn't have infinite boomerangs yet.
He does have explosives, though.
Crowd of people.
They're getting terrified by Steve running in the audience.
Yeah. So Batman maybe throws a smoke bomb up there.
Oh, yeah, Batman can smoke out Pikachu.
Yeah.
Like, make it hard. Like, he's gotten hit by lightning. He's going to make himself hard to see.
Yeah. So there's smoke. Pikachu can't see him.
Then there's Diomedes!
Yeah. Diomedes comes out of the smoke.
I think it's Diomedes' win just because of how tough he is.
Yeah. I think Steve is getting... Now, okay, but the question... Okay, so Steve's up in this arena. He's got... Like, can they do enough damage to Steve to actually take him down?
I think Diomedes can easily.
Now that Steve has all the, like, the popcorn.
Even... Regen's only so fast.
And Steve has leather armor, by the way.
Yeah, even with that, Diomedes shoots fireballs. Fire damage ticks suck.
And so, Steve can now build stone walls pretty easily.
Yeah.
He can just be above the arena dropping sand on them, which could kill Batman. Diomedes could probably push through the sand.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think
but Batman could probably dodge the sand.
at this point, so Diomedes kills Ash,
Yeah.
as nasty as that to say. Pikachu freaks out, and because Pikachu is freaked out, Diomedes kills Pikachu. Because you get stabbed by Diomedes' spear, you're just dead.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a Pokemon who can like take these hits.
I think part of the problem with this is I don't want Ash to die. Like, forget win or lose. It's just like, that's nasty, right?
Well, they get reincarnated.
Yeah. This is just it's a simulation.
It's a Fortnite. They get like hit by the things and picks them up and takes them away.
Yeah, it's simulations.
And then Diomedes just jumps and
They're still in the holodeck.
Diomedes jumps and he can get onto where Steve is.
Yeah, I think.
And he shoots him with fireball. Steve's on fire and he stabs Steve.
Now, are they in the end? And does Steve have access to wool? He like takes the awning and starts building beds.
No.
All right. I think Diomedes wins it for them.
Yeah.
But it's close.
Yeah, it is close. It's just, I think it's the sheer brutality of Diomedes and that he fought two gods.
Yeah.
And was fighting a third one, and the battle stopped because he was told to. Because he was willing to keep fighting Apollo.
Yeah, I think...
Like, that's the thing is, like, Diomedes did more than just fight the gods. He was a hero in the Trojan War, and those guys are insane. Like, any hero who's in the Trojan War.
Yeah, they're also very fast, right?
Yes.
And
Diomedes has very powerful magic items.
Achilles' greatest claim to fame was his speed.
Yeah.
So he's... And that's saying something, because Achilles was also the best warrior they had.
And, like, Ajax's feats, right?
Yeah, like jumping from boat to boat.
Ripping a sail off and swinging at people. Well, a mast.
Yeah, But then, like, Diomedes isn't the best warrior, right?
No.
He's at least third, maybe lower.
Yeah.
Because there's Hector and there's... I mean, Hector's on the opposite side, but there's Hector and there's Achilles, who are better fighters than him. Which, I kind of wonder, like, how is that your third best?
I have to read the Iliad.
Yeah, I've only read bits. You own it.
No, I don't. I own the Odyssey.
I thought you had the Iliad.
No, I don't have the combo. I just have the Odyssey. And the Odyssey's... People are like, oh, you should read the Odyssey. And I tried. I did.
Yeah.
It's boring.
All right. So, the events are cool, but yeah. Next fight, this is going to be a special fight, is Tahu Mata. So this is a Bionicle. This is the red Bionicle, who has...
Power over fire and lava.
He doesn't. This is Tahu Mata.
No.
So... He has the masks. So he has the mask of the mask of strength, the mask of speed, the mask of
shielding.
Like, so these are the
mask of translation.
These are the Mata masks, not the Nui masks, though.
He doesn't have the mask of translation. Sorry, that's
I don't remember his name.
He has the mask of strength, speed, flight.
Yes, he has levitation. He has six masks. Yeah.
Levitation, shielding. Shielding was his original, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Vision,
yeah. So, and his special is if he wins the first fight, he'll become Tahu Nui.
So it's strength, speed, levitation, shielding, vision, and water breathing? Yeah.
Okay, so if there's someone that tries to drown him, he's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's also a giant robot with swords.
Yeah, I think they're about 6 or 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
They're bigger than humans, but not by like a huge amount. But yeah, he's a skilled fighter. I think he's probably the most skilled fighter of the Bionicles. He's a demigod, for what that's worth.
Yeah.
So don't send him against Diomedes. But and he will be up against Ren Octopon, whose power is he has his monkey bird Niddler.
Who? I thought I was supposed to know all these characters.
Yeah, so this is the main character of Pirates of Dark Water.
We've only watched the first movie.
Yeah, so it'll just be based on the first movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got like a fragment of a magic sword.
Yeah, and he's got a monkey bird, don't remember?
Yes.
So Ren Octopon, he's basically a gymnast. He's very athletic.
Yeah.
He's
a lighthouse boy.
Yeah, he's very brave. He's very strong. He's very clever. And he's kind of an everyman hero from...
the 90s.
Yeah, from like a sort of 70s to 90s story. Maybe 80s. Kind of like...
I think Pirates Dark Water is 90s.
Yeah, but he's sort of like that...
Yeah.
That sort of everyman hero who's good at everything, but he's not like... I mean, he took on the entire pirate crew, really, with just a little bit of help.
He rolled a barrel at them. He's smart.
He's smart. He's strong. He's fit. He's a good fighter.
Yeah.
He's got a lot going for him. I think Tahu... Like, I don't think he can even hurt Tahu.
No.
Because Tahu's the mask of shielding.
But they have an event.
Oh, right. But this isn't a straight-up fight.
Yes.
They have to survive longest against a gauntlet. Okay. So the first thing they are both fighting in 2 parallel worlds.
Yeah.
It's Ganondorf. Okay, so Ren is the kind of guy, he's got the moxie to he's got a magic sword. He can deflect those shots. Pew!
He's got a fragment of a magic sword.
That's enough to deflect a magic sword, surely, right? Like bigger in sword, it breaks.
Yeah.
So I think Ganondorf, they can do the little deflection thing. Tahu doesn't have a magic sword,
He has massive shielding.
but Tahu can probably. Is that enough though? Like, does Din's fire or whatever it is protect?
Yes.
Okay, so do you think Tahu could block a magic beam from Ganondorf? Because Ganondorf's pretty strong.
I think he could.
Okay.
I think surviving the longest... I think Tahu could actually survive longer.
Well, if they beat Ganondorf, we go to the next one.
I don't think either of them can beat him.
I think Ren might be able to beat Ganondorf. Ren is basically like Link, but better.
Yes and no. Ren is clever. Ren doesn't actually beat people in fights from the first episode. And this is a Gauntlet versus Ganondorf. So what Ganondorf is this? Is this Twilight Princess Ganondorf?
I was kind of thinking Ocarina of Time, I guess, in my head.
Okay, Ocarina of Time Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Can fly, can shoot projectiles you have to reflect, can just swing at you with his sword.
Yeah.
Is very fast.
I think Tahu's probably faster.
Yeah.
What about like Smash Bros. Ganondorf? Tahu's way faster.
If we're going with Ocarina of Time, he has the Triforce of Power.
But he was beaten by Link, right?
Link has the Triforce of Courage.
But like, because I do think Ren is basically the same person as Link. Link is basically everyman, right?
They're the same people, however, Ren doesn't have all of Link's items.
Right.
And those items you need to beat Ganondorf if you're everyman.
Ren,
especially the Triforce of Courage.
That said, Ren has the monkey bird.
I think that Tahu
might be able to beat Ganondorf one-on-one.
Tahu Meta,
yeah,
I think might be able to beat Ocarina of Time Ganondorf, but I don't think Ren can.
Yeah.
I think one of the problems is a lot of times the people who are fighting Ren aren't actually trying to kill him, they're trying to capture him.
Yeah.
Alright, Ren's there.
Yeah.
Ganondorf is there. Ganondorf draws a sword, Ren draws a little sword. Ganondorf knocks the sword out of his hand. Come back to me when you're older. Then flies away laughing. No, I think Ganondorf kills him.
If you think about Tahu Mata, right?
Yeah.
Tahu Mata at his oldest is like a month old.
Yeah.
Because he was sent by the gods, right?
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. You said Triforce of Courage, right? Tahu Mata is sent by the gods.
Yeah.
He's sent by Matanui.
The Triforce of Courage does more than make you brave.
Yeah. And I think Tahu does have that sort of supernatural aspect to him. The other thing about Tahu is in that back and forth game of tennis with Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, Toa Lee Khan also does that against
actually,
Makuta.
it is the Master Swords that's doing that. It's not any sword, it's the Master Swords that's doing the back and forth. I don't think Ren's sword fragment is as good as the Master Sword.
Like, the Master Sword was, I think, just made by a smith in Twilight Princess. In A Link to the Past. So it's not like...
No, in Link to the Past, it's the sword in the Shrine of Time.
No, Link to the Past, there is no Shrine of Time.
Sorry, this isn't Link... This is Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, but they're all connected, right? So
Yeah. But an Ocarina of Time is Evil's Bane at this point.
Yeah. So you think it's grown in power?
Actually, they can't kill him.
Ganondorf?
Yeah.
But they can win, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can win a game of Legend of Zelda. You can banish Ganondorf.
No. You can only bash him with the Sword of Evil's Bane and Light Arrows. Why is he the first on his gauntlet?
Well,
no, this is Ganondorf, not Ganon, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm kind of thinking, like, sort of Smash Bros. Ganondorf. Like, you can send him packing at the very least, right?
Yeah. I don't think Ren can.
Or what about, like, Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf? I haven't really seen what he can do, but in the flashbacks, he's more like a warlord than a supernatural being, right? Like, he's very fast and...
He's insanely powerful.
Yeah. He's ripped, so he's got that going.
He's insanely powerful.
And then there's that scene where he takes on all the sages at once.
Yes.
And wins. So, okay, yeah, maybe...
He is insanely powerful.
Okay, maybe he's a bad example.
Ganondorf is always insanely powerful. I think his weakest is Ocarina of Time.
When he's just a scrawny wizard man.
Yeah.
But he even gets buff somewhere along the line in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, well, he picks up the Triforce of Power.
Oh, is that what makes him buff?
Yeah, and he turns into Ganon.
Ah. So you think Tahu, though?
I think Tahu, yes.
Okay, because I think Ren is very Link, but...
I don't think he has all the Link items, though, from what we know.
And if it's just endurance, like, Tahu can just bunker her down.
Yeah.
And Tahu's faster, because the masks are, like, a huge boost.
He has the massive strength.
Yeah, and speed.
And levitation. Like, they can both be levitating with their arms crossed and going...
Yeah, yeah, okay, so... Ren's out. Tahu's in. Well, next, this gauntlet is not easy. Like, if you beat Ganondorf, it goes to Rand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So next is a normal fight.
Yeah.
We have a pike. Its power is that all else is equal.
Okay.
And we have... Oh, okay, this one's easy to tell who's going to win. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Well, if you think about it, though, right? Like a...
Spider-Man.
But if...
It is Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man.
And we're not going to explain Spider-Man because he's the best known IP on the planet.
Well, I think Batman is.
No, Spider-Man is.
I thought Spider-Man was like second or something. Or no, Superman's number one, isn't he? Oh, Spider-Man. Right.
No, Spider-Man's more.
Okay. All right. Ooh, so this is going to be a special fight. Kodiak Bear. Special powers, there's 3 of them.
Okay.
Versus Inigo Montoya. And his special power is that all the Kodiak Bears have 6 fingers.
So they killed his father. Prepared to die.
So these Kodiak Bears killed his father.
This isn't a special. Well, oh no, or it is. When it's super fast through the pike.
Well, now the pike can also swing around through the air, right?
I do not care if pike cannot beat... The biggest pike I've seen, like the bite they could deliver would deal no damage to Spider-Man.
Like, Spider-Man's fast and strong, right? But I think a pike's faster.
His spider senses.
Pike has pike senses.
Alright, what's the event?
Okay. They are fencing. Wow.
I just like Batman with a pistol.
I think Inigo Montoya wins.
I do as well, even though it's 3 Kodiak Bears. I need to get some water.
You were the one that added fencing, I believe.
I know.
You didn't even know Inigo Montoya was going to fight Kodiak Bears. So Inigo Montoya wins the fencing competition.
Yes.
What are the odds? The 3 Kodiak Bears go down. Oh, too bad there's not like 3 Kodiak Bears against anyone else is super interesting. Like Spider-Man?
I think Spider-Man wins.
Picard? On the Enterprise?
Computer, close the door.
What if he doesn't know about them in time? He just walks around the corners. What on earth?
Picard? That's actually kind of spry. Like
I think the phaser could probably take down a Kodiak too.
Yeah.
They're kind of...
But he's also spry.
Yeah.
Like he could very quickly jump into
What's-
his cabin.
Like, the actor, what's his name?
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, he was like 30 when he started, right? Like,
Yes.
Picard's not actually supposed to be an old man, I think.
No.
He's meant to be a young Frenchman. He just looks like an old British man. Okay, this will be a normal fight.
All right.
No special fight. Because we just did a special fight. That was over very quick. Oh, this one's weird. Okay, so this is the Assassin's Apprentice / Ranger's Apprentice.
Yeah.
So, we wanted them to all be characters we both knew. However, Ranger's Apprentice and Assassin's Apprentice seem to have so much in common and Connor's only read Ranger's Apprentice, and I've only read Assassin's Apprentice, that we decided he would just use Ranger's Apprentice, and I would just use Assassin's Apprentice to do it, and then we'll see what happens.
Yes.
Okay, so it'll go back and forth randomly, and it's going to be weird. But they will be fighting in a normal arena, 30 feet off on sand, Aang, the last airbender, who is not allowed to use the Avatar state.
Okay. So the Ranger's Apprentice is like a Yu Yan archer.
Okay.
They can shoot the
Right.
wings off a fly.
Right?
And Aang beat them.
Right.
Even though they freaked out, he could beat them.
That said, Fitz is a very good axe fighter. Like, he doesn't really tend to use a bow, but he is very good with the axe, so he's going to get in close.
Yeah, but Aang can just like knock the Ranger's Apprentice away with wind.
But I think he might be immune to magic. It's not
But
ever...
it's not magic. It was very clearly stated that bending's not magic.
Right, but it doesn't really matter because he's kind of a conduit for the source of reality. So it sort of like works for him.
But a boulder to the face is a boulder to the face.
Depends on at what point in his life. There's a point where he's more or less invincible. When he bonds with the pure source of magic.
Yeah, but when the Ranger's Apprentice got old, he just got really depressing because his wife was killed in a fire.
No, but when his wife died, he got actually...
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. Like,
Did he have to take care of his best friend's daughter?
he had to take care of his own daughter.
And they fight in Japan.
He has to go off across the sea to rescue his daughter.
And is Japan like something with hairy men?
It's like really pale-skinned people. They're not Japanese. They're like albinos.
Is there any like hairy mountain men?
There are hairy mountain men, but they're in his homeland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're his allies. So there's 2 sources of magic in the Assassin's Apprentice. There's the wit and the skill.
The very first book of Ranger Apprentice has magic. The first and the second book, I guess. And one of them is the Dark Lord who's imprisoned in the mountains has gotten out again. And he can command armies, and he gets killed by getting shot by an arrow by the Ranger's apprentice. No, he gets stabbed by a sword, actually. And then there's the Hypnotization Stone. And magic's, like, really weak in Ranger's apprentice, and you can't really be immune to it.
But I think, like, it really depends on what point in his life this is.
Can either of them get beaten by being put in a rock prison?
And just being unable to move?
Yeah, because the Ranger's apprentice can.
Depends on what point of his life, I think. Because when he becomes a being of pure skill, or whatever it's called, skill is corrosive.
Yeah.
So it would, like, absorb and dissolve the stone, potentially.
You know the horrific, like, suck you into the ground's earthbender move?
Yeah.
Like, that would deal with either of them. No, Aang know that.
The other thing, like, he's kind of... Fitz can possess things.
Yeah, but you're possessing the Avatar.
No. I mean, like, he can possess anything. Like, he could possess the ground.
And then he's going to get bent.
Or he could possess, like, Appa.
Appa's not there, it's Aang. It's Aang.
Or the audience.
There's shielding on the audience.
So I think Aang would win. Aang is also a master martial artist, right?
Yeah.
Like, Fitz is a berserker, but he's not, like, a master martial artist by any means. Aang is. So it really depends if Fitz is, like, a being of pure magic.
Well, I wasn't going to go with later life Ranger because he gets really depressing and old.
I think since we're... Yeah, so does Assassin's Apprentice. But,
yeah.
But I think since Aang isn't allowed the Avatar state, maybe we should just have the Assassins... maybe we should have Fitz and the Ranger's Apprentice. They're also not their final, like, state, maybe? Yeah. And in which case I think Aang wins. And also...
like, the Ranger's Apprentice is a really good archer. It's just you're shooting arrows at... The Yu Yan were also really good archers, and Aang beat them.
The other thing about Fitz is he's an assassin.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he has a lot of skills that in a head-to-head fight... Yeah. He doesn't actually do much assassinating ever. He's the assassin's apprentice, right? So he's not actually an assassin ever.
Well, the Ranger's Apprentice is a ranger.
Yeah. But the thing... Like,
well, the Ranger has a horse.
Like, Fitz is the most powerful person in the world in every school of magic, but he never received training for any of it. So he can't really use any of them. So he would have to have a moment of some sort of awakening that worked for him during the fight, which would be pretty unlikely, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think...
And if he was to awaken during the fight, Aang would.
Yeah. Well, I mean awaken as in he just accidentally taps into something and suddenly he's controlling the audience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then Aang gets Avatar state and it's done.
So I think that Aang probably wins just as a fight, yeah.
I think the Ranger's Apprentice doesn't stand a chance against Aang.
Yeah. And I think even if Fitz was in his strongest form where he's the being of pure skill, he is still actually, ironically, assassinated in that form. So it is possible.
Okay, well, that confusion's over with.
Yeah. All right. Well, it kind of almost made sense, sort of. You need to read those books so we can just talk about it.
I didn't even remember the Ranger's Apprentice's name.
Yeah. All right. So this is a special fight now. And it will be between Kalam, whatever his last name is, the assassin, a different assassin.
Yeah, so Kalam is from Malice and Book of the Fallen. Yeah. He's a really big, burly, kind of Arabic man. Yeah,
with complete mastery over his body to the point where he can constrict individual blood vessels.
Yeah, he can stop his own heart.
Yeah.
He is covered in Ototero?
No, that's the other dude. Yeah.
No, he's just really tough and a really good fighter, and he actually assassinates a lot of people.
Yeah, I think he actually beat that Ototero assassin.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So that's actually useful. So Ototero, it makes you immune to magic, and it also mutates you to be super fast and super durable. And so there's a very skilled assassin who mutated himself with it, but then Kalam, I believe, beats him in a fight.
Yeah.
And we've also given Kalam the power. Once during this entire tournament, he's allowed to summon his best friend, Quick Ben.
Yeah.
Once.
If you've seen the trailer Killer of Kings with that guy, basically imagine him.
So the Witcher 2 trailer.
Yeah, the Witcher 2 trailer, Killer of Kings.
Or opening cinematic.
Yeah. Imagine that assassin, except he's like dark-skinned Arab man.
Yeah.
And kind of similar.
Basically the same character. Yeah. Yeah, basically a Witcher.
Yes.
Yeah. Without the potions. But he's about as...
He doesn't need the potions. He can just do that to himself.
Yeah, he's as skilled. He's super strong. He's super powerful. Yeah. He probably wouldn't explode a ship to kill the king,
No.
but he could still do it.
I would put him up against Geralt.
Yeah, I think Geralt would win.
Yeah. But I'm saying I'd put him up against Geralt. Like,
Yeah.
there'd be a chance that he could.
But if he had Quick Bent on his side, then
Yeah.
I think that'd be a different story. This one's gonna hurt.
Well, this is special.
Oh yeah. Okay. Minsk and Boo.
Oh. Minsk and Boo.
So just straight up, Minsk is very strong.
I think Callum's stronger.
I mean, just like physically.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think physically Callum's stronger.
Really.
Yeah.
I think Minsk is probably stronger. But I think Kalam's
Minsk
probably
is-
a better fighter.
Minsk is 1883.
Something like that, yeah.
He's the second highest strength you can be without getting 19 strength.
I don't think Kalam is like 19 strength, though. I don't think Kalam's like troll strength or whatever that is.
That's
Orc strength.
ogre.
Yeah. I don't think Kalam is like...
No, he's ridiculously strong.
I don't think he's doing stuff like bending steel bars and stuff.
I think he does.
I think he's just like a very, very strong human.
Yeah. Well, anyways, what's the contest?
Yeah, and so Minsk is probably the best thing Forgotten Realm ever came up with.
Yeah.
He's a
He's
very
the,
strong ranger.
yeah. He's the faithful ranger. That's his title.
He was once I don't remember what his original job was, but he was a great ranger. He was hit in the head and basically destroyed his mind. So he's not very intelligent, but he found, and so he was kind of just lost and wandered in the wilderness, I believe. And then he ran across Boo, who is a hamster,
He's a giant miniature space hamster.
which Minsk claims is a giant miniature space hamster. And Boo is the one who gives him guidance, so that despite his brain damage, he's able to keep
Yeah,
functioning
he
in
has
the world.
moral guidance via hamster.
Yeah, and so he's a ranger, so he specializes in things like stealth and tracking and whatnot. Except he's also kind of a berserker type
Yeah,
character.
his background is he's from a barbarian tribe, and his job was to defend his witch,
Yeah,
which was also basically his wife.
yeah. So he can be stealthy, but he actually says, what is it? Minsk is sneaky, but his battle cry may give him away.
Yes.
Yeah. So he can be very stealthy. He's a talented fighter. He's very, very strong. He's the strongest character in Baldur's Gate, besides the Blackguard, I guess.
No, the Blackguard doesn't have 19 strength.
Oh, wow.
He's a paladin.
So only the player character can be stronger
Yeah,
than him.
only the player character can be stronger.
Yeah. But they will be building a house to resist the big bad wolf. Minsk.
I think Callum would be a better house builder.
Minsk can get Boo to help him. That's 2 people.
Are we going to have to make Callum use his ace in the hole to win this?
His one quick.
I don't think Minsk could build a house. I think Minsk would build a burrow.
Minsk is like a ranger, though, right? Like, he knows how to, survive in the woods.
Okay, here's the thing. They're building a house to survive Big Bad Wolf.
Yeah.
So they're told you have to build a shelter to survive a wolf.
Yeah.
So Minsk is going to build like a stick hut.
Yeah. And then he'll hold it together with his arms.
Callum is just competent.
Yeah.
He like put stone bricks together.
I think that if the wolf blew, it couldn't even move Minsk, right?
I think it could. Like the wolf can take out a house of logs with his breath.
Yeah, but this is like...
Are you just being silly?
Well, I'm just thinking about how Minsk smuggled Boo into prison. Like, John Irenicus is an all-powerful sorcerer.
And it's disgusting how he smuggled him.
Well, it doesn't have to be disgusting, right? Like, it could be that...
Minsk is very big, and Boo is very small, and there are many crevices on Minsk's body.
No, there's much... It's like he says something like there's a lot of Minsk to search or something.
Yeah.
Like, Boo could have just been skirting around his back while they're searching his front, and then run around his front while they're searching his back. Like, it doesn't have to be gross.
But Imoen says, I don't want to know.
I think, like...
There is implications there.
Like, does Callum have any practical skills? He kind of, or is he given his life to...
I think he's a bridge burner.
Callum's a bridge burner.
He's a bridge burner, and he's a marine.
Right, Callum's a bridge burner. Yeah, okay, Callum wins.
Yeah, he's also a marine.
Yeah.
Like, he's not just an assassin, he's a marine. And do you know what they're good at doing? Digging trenches.
Yeah. Well, but the bridge burners especially, like, they're very competent people at, like, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Like, their job is being hole diggers, right? Like, they're basically... They were made the Emperor's sappers at one point, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think Callum wins that. All right. They survived the big
Just
bad
be
wolf.
saying he's a bridge burner was enough for you.
Yeah.
Did you kind of forget he was a bridge burner?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's not in the army for much longer than the first 2 chapters of the first book.
Yeah.
So it kind of becomes more about him getting stabbed and then dying slowly for like 4 books.
Yeah, well, he gets better.
He gets better. Yeah. Okay, so this is a non-special fight.
Okay.
Okay, this one could... If this character doesn't lose, they're going to win the whole thing, possibly. So,
Well, it's the special events can always take
yeah,
him out.
always take him out. So this is Heroes of Might and Magic 2 Green Dragon. It upgrades every fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, does Callum ever beat the Black Dragon?
I was wondering if Steve could beat it as well.
Yeah.
Quick Bend, maybe. Well, no, he can't because it's immune to magic.
That doesn't stop him.
I think it would stop. This is Heroes of Might and Magic 2, not 5.
No, but do you remember his fight against the king who's immune to magic?
You can't cast Meteor Shower on a Black Dragon.
It doesn't matter. It's quick bet. Anyways, carry on.
You can't...
If it comes to it, it'll come to it. We can argue it then.
I think I think Green Dragon's doomed. They're up against... So here's my Magic 2 Green Dragon. It is the... it's equivalent roughly to a... It's slightly weaker than a Bone Dragon in the game, which is the strongest Necromancer unit. And this is the weakest Tier 5 Warlock unit.
Yeah.
So essentially, you can upgrade it twice more into a red and then a Black Dragon.
It's a giant green dragon that breathes fire.
Yeah. And it's immune to level 1 and 2 spells, I believe.
Yeah, it's immune to weaker magics.
Yeah. It'll be fighting Karser from Discworld. So Karser is kind of... Jack the Ripper's not quite the right idea. He's more like just a serial killer, like mass murderer. Like everyone knows who he is.
Yeah, he's a mass murderer who kills concepts.
No, that's Tia Time.
Oh, was that Tia Time?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Karser is the guy that goes back in time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
With Vimes.
Right, that's Karser goes back in time.
Yeah. So Karser's just like a gutter hoodlum who grew up to be a murderer. He just kills people for fun. I think Green Dragon
wins.
Oh yeah, Karser's special power I have is he has 3 knives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So he's Jack the Ripper, who's equivalent to Commander Vimes in fighting.
Yeah.
And Commander Vimes is very good. It's a green dragon.
Yeah.
It's a giant green dragon.
I'd say Karser's slightly worse than Vimes at fighting. Yeah. And Karser also lost to Captain Carrot a few times, at least.
Yeah. Well, it's Captain Carrot.
Yeah. Captain Carrot actually kills Karser, I believe.
No, they went back. Vimes kills him.
Maybe. Anyways.
He killed him back in time.
Right. I think it was Carrot, but anyways. Yeah. Green Dragon wins.
Yes.
All right. Special fight.
So now it's a red dragon.
So now it's a red dragon. It's about to destroy whatever it goes up against next.
If it fights Samus.
Or Kyphus Cain.
Yeah.
Aang, maybe?
Well, it's fire breath.
Yeah, okay, we've got Gilgamesh. Right.
So Gilgamesh is from the Ptolemy?
From the Epic of Gilgamesh.
From Epic of Gilgamesh. He is the first story.
Yeah.
He's the hero of
the
first
Enuma
story.
Elish might be earlier. I'm not sure. But yeah, Gilgamesh, one of the first stories, if not the first, that we know of. He is
a demigod.
He's 2/3 god, 1/3 man, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Percentages don't quite make sense. He's the most powerful man in the world.
He's the king of Ur.
And he does whatever he wants. His special power is that he slept with your wife.
Yeah.
Which, in this case, is not your wife, but the person he's fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that person will be presumably saddened or angered or whatever it might be by that. Because Gilgamesh, his whole city wanted to rebel against him because he had slept with everyone's wives. So every time they got married, he would sleep with their wife before they could. But they couldn't fight him because he's the most powerful man on earth. So they prayed to the gods for help. And so the gods created a being to equal him named Kaidu. And they fought and they were literally equal. So they became best friends.
Yes.
Yeah. But Gilgamesh will be fighting Denethor from Lord of the Rings. The father of Faramir and Boromir. And Denethor's power is that he's full of hope.
But he slept with Denethor's wife. And one of the things that destroyed Denethor mentally was his wife dying.
So what's the order of operations here? Does he get refilled with hope?
Well, his wife's still alive, but he got cucked. Let's see their event.
All right. So Denethor, Lord of the Rings, he's the steward of Gondor.
Yeah. He's a great man.
In the movies, he seems like this evil, useless person, and he is very much, but that's because he was broken by looking to the Palantir. Because Denethor is one of the few people in Middle-earth with the power to match Sauron and Saruman, and so he looked into the Palantir to spy on them, but Sauron is much more powerful.
During his younger days, he made the most gains against the armies of Sauron. He actually recaptured the Osgiliath.
Yeah.
During his younger days.
Yeah. He's the greatest of men, so he's massive, he's strong, he's an amazing warrior. He's also the greatest magic user among men, besides maybe Faramir.
Yeah.
And maybe Aragorn. Aragorn is kind of a magic user. But,
yeah. Lord of the Rings magic's weird.
Yeah. But, so Denethor, he can basically see anywhere.
He can know if you're lying.
Yeah.
He can see into your heart.
and he's an amazing fighter. He's basically what Aragorn was in the movies before he lost hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they will be having a beauty contest.
Gilgamesh versus Denethor.
Were the Númenóreans beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was like Faramir and Aragorn. He was a beautiful man. Even when he was old, he looked so noble and proud, even though he was sad.
Right. So
He's really good looking, but it is Gilgamesh.
now Gilgamesh isn't necessarily good looking.
But Gilgamesh is a Chad.
But Gilgamesh is a Chad. The goddess of love and beauty did ask him out,
Yeah.
but he turned her down.
Yes. That's how much of a Chad he is he can be asked to marry a god, and he can say no. He'd rather spend time with Enkidu.
Yeah.
There's a joke, so in the Fate series, it shows all the different characters' sexualities.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, like, they gender switch characters,
Yeah.
but they make it work that they can still have children. And so the list is meant to be like a silly list. And when it gets to Gilgamesh, it's clay sexual because Enkidu's made out of clay.
No, they're just friends.
Yes.
They're just buds. They're just roommates.
Yeah.
They just share a room.
Yeah.
And, beds are expensive. They got one bed. Like buddies. Pals.
Um,
Now, beauty contest isn't only your physical looks, right? There is a certain degree of presentation. You have to dress nicely. Now, both of these men are willing to put the work in, I think.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh built a city with his hands
yes.
and traveled across the world to find the secret of immortality. Denethor,
Recaptured Osgiliath.
he likes his tomatoes.
He's really good at raising armies. He rebuilt the city that was damaged.
Now, fashion sense wise, I think like the Mesopotamians, very fashionable.
Yeah.
I think the English,
Have you seen the
Not so fashionable.
Gondorian guard drip? They've got like the swan wings in their helmets.
but like the ringlet beards and
Yeah, no, I'm giving the beauty of contest, I think, to Gilgamesh just with his fashion. Like,
now the one thing, I think Denethor might look better.
yeah.
I think Denethor might be a better looking guy.
Okay, can Denethor look into the Palantir to find fashion? Because it can show you what you want to see.
Show me the most beautiful. Are they in a sand? There's no prep time. They're in a sand arena.
Yeah, but they're doing a fashion contest. You put on your clothing to do a fashion contest.
Yeah.
You get dressed up.
So he's in the changing room with the Palantir.
Yes. And Sauron's going, "Oosh, Dad, what are you looking for?"
Hey Sauron, you used to be good at. You're the god of gifts, right? What looks good?
Very good.
Does this look good? Does this look good, Sauron?
And Sauron says, "Oh yes, that's very good looking, Denethor."
Okay, so imagine.
And then Gandalf shows up, like, "Long have I been in your council, Denethor, and I say that the pink ribbons do not suit your hair."
So imagine like.
And then Kaidu's there, just giving him a shoulder. I was like, "Yeah, your ringlets are looking really good. Let's get some like proper oil on those muscles of your pecs."
Like beautiful, elegant black dress, simple cut, right?
Yeah.
Dame Judi Dench's just wearing it. Okay. And then you have like some linen rags, but Terry Crews is wearing it. So I wonder, like, if any amount of Gilgamesh's drip.
Fashion contest, you don't have to be good looking.
But this is a beauty contest.
Oh, this is a beauty contest.
Yeah. So like.
Sorry, this is beauty, not fashion.
So it's like a Miss America type, but like your makeup and your clothes, they help, right?
Yeah.
But I think that.
It's not the clothing you're thinking of. That is lesser men. This is Gondorian fashion. It is not high medieval clothing. This is like a more advanced they're going to wear nice clothing.
Yeah.
Like Gondorian clothing looks good. It's almost as good as Elven.
And
Denethor. Now, this is Denethor full of hope. He's still slightly old man, but even when he's old man, like, okay, actually, here's the thing. So when Pippin goes into the council,
yeah.
and he sees Gandalf the White. Gandalf the White is veiled, but still Gandalf the White. And he sees Denethor, and he looks at both of them. He thinks Denethor looks far more like a powerful wizard and a king than Gandalf does, until Gandalf gets rid of his mantle. So that's like an insight into, this is sad Denethor. That's an insight into sad Denethor. And this is Denethor filled with hope.
Yeah, like Aragorn was able to reveal himself just by being like, look, like, they don't have like pictures of Aragorn everywhere, but it's like, oh yeah, that guy looks like a king.
Yeah.
And Denethor's not a king, but he's of that
He's a
line.
steward.
Yeah.
He's of the line of stewards.
So I think Denethor might win it.
Yeah.
Like, the movie depiction of Denethor is ruining it for me slightly, and the drawings of Gilgamesh are always like him as the chadliest Chad that ever chatted. But I think Denethor might win a beauty contest.
It is hard, though. Like, it's a beauty con, it's all fashion, and he's such a Chad.
But it's not a Chad contest.
Yeah. It's a beauty contest.
Yeah.
I don't want Gilgamesh to go up, but I think Denethor takes it.
Yeah, I think Denethor takes it. We should... So the good characters like Ash and Gilgamesh, they need like a...
We've been going on a long time.
Yeah, I mean like another day.
Yes.
To do like a different one. All right.
We can have the contest of losers.
Yeah. Or just like a new contest someday. Okay, right. So we've got a level 3 dwarf from first edition D&D or 0 edition D&D.
Okay.
They have a +1 sword, plate mail, shield, and helmet.
Okay.
And they are fighting Shakespeare. But Shakespeare is able to tag team with Francis Bacon. I think the dwarf wins.
Did they have guns at that point?
No.
Dwarf wins.
Yeah, I think the dwarf wins. Although Bacon might be immortal. Like, there's some weirdness going on there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a dwarf, though.
Yeah.
Save versus immortality. Thank God could save.
All right, and yeah, D&D dwarf is just a fantasy dwarf.
Yeah.
Shakespeare, everyone knows him. All right. Special contest. Samus. Samus Aran from Metroid. She is a super soldier.
In a super powerful magic technology suit.
Yeah, and she is genetically engineered to be the hunter of Metroids. And her special here, she can redo every fight if she loses. She can regain information from a loss.
Yeah.
And she will be up against the green M&M, but it's special.
It's wearing combat boots.
It still has the heels.
Oh, it still has the heels.
So Tucker Carlson can be happy that it's the sexy M&M.
And what's the...
And the competition is they get a random amount of prep time. I need to die.
What kind?
Any. They get 15 minutes prep time before the fight. Samus.
Samus shoots it with her arm cannon and it's vaporized. It's a chocolate.
Yeah. All right. Final round. Oh, we need to die again. We have D6 Ron Weasleys. We have 6 Ron Weasleys from Harry Potter.
Shall I explain the context?
I don't even remember it myself. Yeah.
All right. So, Ron Weasley is a ginger-haired... This is going to be final year.
When he's 17.
Yeah, so Ron Weasley
Is Harry Potter.
is Harry Potter's best friend.
Yeah.
He's a gingered wizard. He's actually a pretty good spellcaster.
He's about average, I think, yeah.
He's good at certain spells. Like, he's good at combative spells. He puts a lot of effort in.
Yeah, he's a brave guy.
And so why there are 6 of them is because there's a unit of how powerful a character is how many Ron Weasleys could they beat, which comes from Tom and Ben. So you say a character like Abaddon the Despoiler, how many Ron Weasleys could he defeat? It's like, oh, maybe 200. Like, after a certain point, there's going to be so many Ron Weasleys that a character is going to drown in them, given their power level.
Yeah.
So that is where it comes from. So this is 6 Ron Weasleys.
Yeah. Versus Abraham Lincoln and the Union.
So wizards can't really do much against people with guns.
Well, that's what J.K. Rowling said. She said the average wizard would lose to a person with a gun, right?
Yeah.
That is a modern gun, first of all. And that's also an average wizard, not a combat wizard.
Yeah.
Like, Ron is a combat wizard.
Yes.
That said, the entire Union...
But do you have to beat the Union, or do you just have to beat Abraham Lincoln?
You just have to beat Abraham Lincoln.
Because Ron can teleport. Actually, did he ever master that? Did he get his license?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron can teleport.
Yeah. And... Yeah, because the Union, you have to organize them. They're going to be all over. There's a big place, right? So...
Yeah, and this is a wizard.
Yeah.
Like, he can use Obliviate.
Yeah, he can make you forget your memory.
He can make you vomit. This is the Union as well. If you're vomiting slugs,
Yeah.
you're fighting a wizard. You're the Union. It's 1880s.
Yeah.
You're vomiting slugs. People are forgetting things.
The 1860s? I don't know when their Civil War was. Yeah.
But this is a wizard.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to panic.
But there is only 6 of them against, like, hundreds of thousands or whatever. But you just have to take down Abraham Lincoln, right? So, now the question is, does...
Well, they're in an arena.
Yeah.
But Ron can just teleport.
But Ron has to...
You have to stay in the arena stands at the very least.
Well, we didn't say that. You know.
Also, we made the arena size. How's the Union fit in?
Maybe, you know,
the arena gets bigger.
Or they just have to come into the arena.
Yep.
They're just
From
out
the
there.
arena doors.
Yeah. This takes place in the center of the United States. So they can just...
What's the worst curse Ron uses?
He doesn't use curses. Some of it. Oh, like stupefy or something. But...
So he never used... Like, Hermione and Harry try to. But Ron never does?
Harry and Hermione succeed at them. I don't think Ron ever does them, no.
No.
The other thing is, like, subterfuge would be good against Abraham Lincoln, obviously, like you said. But I don't think Ron would necessarily go for that, right?
Yeah, he's not subtle.
Ron's biggest disadvantage here is he has no idea how Muggles operate, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't know what scares them and what they can and can't do. So he will think they have counter teleportation technology. He will think that vomiting slugs, you just make yourself feel better, right? Like, by the time he's 17, some Muggle studies probably wore off from Hermione, so he's got a bit of an idea, but he still is kind of out in the dark there. I think the sheer numbers, like, you have to find Abraham Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
So
he has a tall hat.
Yeah.
But he has a very tall hat.
But I think the sheer numbers of the Union would just defeat Ron.
Right. So 5 Rons go down.
Yeah.
They do their best. They go down. Then the one Ron teleports. And he comes back with John Wilkes Booth.
But he wouldn't. It's not like he knows the history, right, or anything.
No.
So I think.
I think the Union would beat.
I think the Union wins.
I think they would get damaged.
Yeah. I think morale would be a big factor, right?
So I actually any combat in the Harry Potter movies isn't great.
Yeah.
But especially Magic Beasts where to find them. It sucks because they're like flicking spells at each other and exploding. It's like they're shooting projectiles.
Yeah.
Or the Harry Potter, I haven't played it, but the latest video game where they're doing combat, that combat also sucks. Because in the books, when there's a wizard battle going on, it's a wizard hits another wizard with a spell, and that wizard goes down.
Yeah.
And it's like really good wizards will have a duel and they can sort of deflect each other's spells. But you don't just hit someone with a spell in the chest and they go, oof, and then they get back up again. You get hit by a spell, you're out of a fight.
Yeah. And sometimes you have like 6 legs now as well or something.
Yes.
The only...
Like even when...
back and forth fight is Dumbledore versus Voldemort.
Yeah. When they were fighting the Death Eaters in the Ministry of Magic, they were actually hitting the Death Eaters with like the throwing up curse, and there's a curse that makes you look like a corpse, and that can take you out.
Well, they were knocking them into a lot of the stuff that was in the forbidden...
They were doing that too, but like the spells the students were hitting them were just like unpleasant hexes.
Like jelly legs and whatnot, so they'd fall over. Yeah.
And that's what the Death Eaters were also using those back on them, like getting hit by a spell that makes it so you can uncontrollably sneeze.
Yeah.
Then you can no longer do magic.
Yeah, because you can't say stuff. Or one of them took away Hermione's voice, so she couldn't cast spells.
Man, Rowling was a good writer when it comes to magic combat.
Yeah, and then like Dumbledore versus Voldemort was amazing combat.
And that's like the actual like best wizard versus best wizard.
Yeah.
It's creativity versus skill.
Okay, so Abraham Lincoln though, I think,
takes Abraham Lincoln with the Union.
with the entire Union.
Beats 6 Ron Weasleys.
So it's more than 6 Ron Weasleys for that, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, so the question now is, do we stop and save the next round for another time?
Sure.
Or what's the... Because we only have an hour, I guess, right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to do that?
I think this seems like fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really enjoying these as well.
Yeah.
But I don't want to rush it either, right? Like, we could just be like, oh yeah, that wins, but then we don't get to enjoy it, right? Like, because I think the Batman versus Pikachu was really interesting.
Yes.
That takes a while. So what's your...
We can have round 1.
Yeah, we'll just...
Although, I don't know if we'll record again in March.
Well, it's not like it'll come out in March necessarily anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Does that work for you? Or?
Yes. Yeah, that works. Round 1.
All right. So, we have...
And I mean, this is going to be broken down, probably.
Yeah, well, it's just going to be the March Madness channel.
For a bit.
Okay. So we'll wrap it up there for now?
Yeah.
All right. So, I'll do the intro. Bye.